are. Welcome back to another Monday Night Live with the Los Angeles Tribune. Yes, we've been on hiatus for a couple of weeks, but that's because there's a lot brewing on the back end. So we missed you all, and today, as you will see on the other side of the screen, depending on whether you're looking left or right or upside down, you see the amazing Sherry Gideons, because there is Persian New Year going on. The celebrations are abound, crazy, wild, happy. So Moe Rock will not join us today. I hope he will at least check in and tell us that we're doing a good job. But Happy New Year's to everybody who's celebrating right now. Sherry, thank you so much for being here today. How is everything going with you? What are you excited about today?
Oh, my goodness. I'm just excited about the amazing things that are going on right now in the world. I mean, really in my life as well. So thank you for having me today. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. And today, we're going to talk about something that is really important for anybody who is in business, wants to be in business, thinks they're not in business, because it's that topic that I think is the most important stumbling block. And we have three experts with us who are going to share important information on sales, that S word that everybody goes crazy about. We know we need to have them, but very often we don't know how to have them. And it's because we often come at it from saying, well, I need a sale, I need a sale, I need a sale just to pay the bills. Have you ever had that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I owned health clubs for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And so luckily in the business, my husband was the guru seller. I mean, he tried to teach me how to, be good in sales and stuff like that. But my gift was always to, raise people up, where his was the absolute gift to sell ice to Eskimos, I used to say.
Awesome. Well, we have some of those experts with us today, and I'm going to bring them in one at a time. I hope you all remember Steve from our Quantum Leap Forum. And then I'm going to add Katerina Rando. She's been with us a couple of times, of course, as well already on Monday Night Live. And last but not least, the overriding powerhouse, Joe Ingram. Yay! All right. That was just a sale, people. I just tried to sell you.
She's selling me, which is brilliant.
Yes, but that's because I know we have Steve in the house, and he does not require any extra words.
That's right.
He's just that presence right there. All right, you know how it is. Please introduce yourself slowly but surely so that everybody knows how to get in touch with you. And then let's dive into that issue that is so important, sales and leadership in sales. Who wants to start us out with telling everybody who they are and what they do, just in case people are not aware?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Up, Jinx.
Now I owe my Coke.
Yeah. It's all on you, Katerina.
Okay, good. Hey, everybody. Very happy to be with you. I'm Katerina Rando. I serve women on a mission to support you, to be yourself, do your thing, serve your people, and massively monetize your mastery. Because if you can't sell, you can't serve. That's my focus. I also have a center in San Francisco, which has been dark for a year, but hopefully will open soon. And I also lead the Bliss Retreat for women on a mission, supporting women to bliss more in their business and their life. Bing, bing.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
I put my website in the chat, and I'd love to connect with everybody.
If you cannot sell, you cannot serve. I love that. All right. I'm going to ask Joe to go next so that then we have the floor for Steve to trump everything. Okay, Joe.
I think I'm sensing some favoritism going on here.
Right? Never.
I knew I should have sent the chocolates, and I didn't. Good job, Steve.
Yeah, well, missed that one. Yep.
Yes. So Joe Ingram, I'm the CEO of Ingram Interactive. I own the couple companies, one being the Sales Genius. And so what I do is I help companies take the virtual prospects and turn them into actually sold customers. So I like playing in the virtual. I look just like Brad Pitt over the phone. Okay, so it'll help you to get to that point. My saying is very simple: is that sales is only a numbers game until you become educated. So I just want to help people make some sales, because what's the first thing that happens in Shark Tank when you walk in and say, "Hey, I want investors," and they go, "And your last 12 months sales have been what?" Right. So if you don't have those, don't look for any money. Yes.
Awesome. Point well taken. All right, Steve, take it away. What you got for us, Steve?
Well, Joe and I are going to agree on a lot of stuff. We have a lot of mutual friends, mutual mentors, and we certainly both agree sales is not a numbers game. It's a skills game. But I run a company called Victory Selling, and we teach people how to sell with honesty, integrity, and humility. You don't have to be the always be closing person, closing everyone within 2 square feet of you. It takes integrity to not sell something to someone just because they want it. So work with a lot of different companies, speakers. I'm a Vistage speaker now, which is taking off tremendously well. Just grateful that you guys are giving me a platform to share all the good things that we can all share with each other. And sales is not a dirty word. Hint, hint, plug for the book. So
love that. Love that.
I agree.
Wow. I just love what you said, Steve, that you said 2 things. You said, number one, you don't always have to be number one in sales, so you don't always have to make the sale. And number 2, you said, if I heard you correctly, that it's better sometimes not to sell something even if somebody wants it. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. We actually just talked about that in our Monday call I was mentioning. We do a Monday call, which is why I can't see you, Joe, anymore on Closer School, because my weekly call is the same time. But we've all had clients that we would, if we could go back in time, wouldn't take them. We just seem to either want to help or need the business or whatever it might be, end of the quarter, end of the month. You all know this, but sometimes it's better to pass because we end up taking on clients that aren't our ideal customer profile. They take up too much time. They complain about everything, even though you're doing the right things for them. And I just think it's something that took me a long time to learn, that you don't need every client that needs you.
Right. So Joe, as far as the automotive space goes, in the automotive, you guys get a pretty bad rap. So what do you think that is?
A lot of bad people. Okay. So, but again, I will tell you, it's comedic, which means it will always forever be in the movies.
Yeah.
Right. And so it is definitely that way. I will tell you, the one thing I'm grateful for was the Happy Honda people. Right. The Happy Honda people, that little marketing campaign that started in Southern California Honda dealers took away the sting of the salesperson for new cars only. But what they did was they said, and again, it's not very pleasant to be that person, but the answer was, look, our guys are so ignorant to the way of sales, they couldn't take advantage of you if they wanted to. Which is the complete opposite of what everybody is, which is you're the cheesy, slimy salesperson who's trying to get them. But again, what are they trying to do? What Steve said to avoid, right? Which was selling to someone just because they feel they want to, right? So they want a new car, they want something, and everybody goes, ooh, I could take advantage of you wanting. So if I take advantage of you wanting, I can add the profitability of selling you something continuously because you do that. And I've always sat back and said, look, my answer is, what is sales? To me, sales is me as the salesperson. My job is to provide the prospect with a logical explanation to justify their emotional decision. And if I can't give you something logical to justify what you're trying to do emotionally, then there's no reason to go forward. And I think that's a lot where the synergy comes in with Steve and I is that way, right? Katerina, I don't know. You're in bliss. That's what I know. And so I don't know. Bliss isn't anything I'm going with. So I don't know that part. I can't speak intelligently on it. But no, car people took advantage of people, and they did it repeatedly. And so again, all of the legislation has been put in place to stop that. And so now the legislation's there, but the mindset of the prospects haven't. So if you go to Google, that's a website that you can type into.
Hold on, let me write that down.
Yes, write it down. So
Thanks for that, Joe.
if you
Thanks
type
for that.
in new car salesman, you'll see, and I always say before, like in the newspaper game back in the day, we always had before the fold. So whatever you could see in the machine, right? You look inside and go, oh, that's front page before the fold. But up here, I say before the scroll. So if you're online, what do you see before you scroll down? And so you want to have as many things. Oh, I love Punk Job. He's so good.
I know.
Yeah.
He's always here.
Pankaj, hello. Then if the pictures you see in the image search on Google Images before you have to scroll down, you'll see that almost all of them are positive for new car salesperson. If you type in used car, it's still Danny DeVito and some dude in some wide collar shirt and probably every president we've ever had just put on that same suit, right? It's all there, but no, we earned it by doing things incorrectly and taking advantage of stuff. That's gone away, but the stigmatism is still there. So it's just going to take a longer time frame of doing things right. Right. And that's what I teach. I'm like, don't make the sale just for the sake of a sale. Right. It's about delivering something for people.
Hey, Joe, who's that gentleman? I think his name's Ali in Michigan. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. My friend Ali Reda.
Ali. Yeah. So he, if y'all don't know this story, Joe would probably know better than me. What is he, 1,500 cars or something to that degree?
Yeah, he was like 1,470 something was what he sold in a year.
1 year. All referrals, right? All referrals. I mean,
he doesn't do advertising. It's repeat referral. Damien Boudreau is his coach. Damien and I are friends as well. And so Damien and I will talk all the time about certain things that work and certain things that don't. And Ali's like, guys, you can come up with what works and what doesn't. I treat people right. He works Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, which is unheard of in the car business. He's got 2 assistants. He pumps out over 100 cars a month by himself and those 2 people, right? It's phenomenal. It's just phenomenal.
So what is
an example of do it right and it comes back.
Yeah. So what are some of the ways that he is doing it right? Because I come from the car business.
So with Ali, what Ali does, and you can go to his website for, what is it? Sell 100 with 100 cars a month, right? Or sell100cars.com. And he has a free ebook that says, here, guys, go do this. But what he does is he treats people right. He doesn't do the bickering and the haggling. He says, look, here's what the pricing is. This is what I'm authorized to sell it to. I want you in and out in 40 minutes, including all the paperwork. And if you schedule it right, the car will be detailed, cleaned, waiting for you up front. You walk in the door, we sit down, review the vehicle, sign the paperwork with my assistant, and off you go. And we wave, and he's out kissing babies and running for mayor, at that point.
And so how much repeat business, and I don't want to necessarily stick with the car industry, but of course it's very important that that's where a lot of the negativity came from, right? But when we're talking repeat business, Kevin Harrington talks about client acquisition and the client journey and so forth. So this Ali gentleman or you guys, how do you make sure that it is not just that one sale, but maybe for the next car, if this one breaks down or they want another one, how do you make sure that they come back to you?
That really depends on your whole client cycle. First is attraction, then is building influence, then is getting the agreement, which is the sale. But the thing is that a lot of people think, okay, I got the sale, bing, bing, that's where it stops. Well, actually, then you need to engage the client. Then you need to make sure you fulfill your promise. Then a lot of people forget about client appreciation and celebrating their successes, client celebration, and then is the invitation for them to join you again. But if you have missed in any of those other areas before you get to the next sale or the re-engagement, then you are not going to have an ongoing client. And let's remember, we're not looking for customers or clients. My first business was I owned a cafe. I would have people come in 3 times a day for years and years and years. So it's not just that first sale. Is to keep them coming back, you have to make sure that you're doing a great job at the client cycle, the whole client cycle, because we're looking for lifelong clients, right? The dentist gets lifelong clients. The insurance person gets usually lifelong clients. Your bookkeeper, you've probably been with for 20 years. Well, let's have that be the same for whatever our business is too. And that's going to matter. Of course, what we do before the sale, like Joe and Steve are talking about Ali, clearly he does a great job before the sale, but I'm sure he does an equally great job after. And that's where we also want to put our attention. I just had some ladies finish up a course, and I just looked today. 90% of them have signed up for another one. Why? Because they had a great experience, and that sales conversation took about 2 minutes because everything was great from day one. So this is what we want to remember, to not just get clients or customers, but long-term and lifelong clients and customers.
So what are the principles of sales that are going to hold true regardless of what's happening in the world today?
You want to take this, Joe?
Yeah, I'll jump in on anything.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, Natalie's got a little tick board. How many times is Joe talking and not letting anybody else talk? Yes, I know.
Well, Steve just invited you, so it's all good, Joe. He gave you permission. Joe. It's all good.
Yeah, she's like, Sherry, tell Joe to shut up. Ask Steve a question. Right? So one of the things I'm going to tell you is that often what people confuse is customer service and sales skills, right? It takes a prospect to go through sales skills to become a customer. Then you can utilize customer service. What happens is we are blinding ourselves in the beginning of it by treating our prospects as if they're customers. And so we go into the servitude and how do I do this as opposed to providing value that exceeds the price point. So when I look at this, I'm looking and saying, what are we going to have as value? How well are you? What's going to continue is product knowledge. It's going to be product specialists, somebody who knows the product so well and what it can and can't do for you so that I can help you to then decide if this is the right one for you, right? Transparency is a word that is so transparent today that you can't see it anymore. But when you look at that, right, thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. When you look at that, right, are you actually going to treat people right? Are you going to walk them through the process? And are you going to take care of them is the way it goes, right? How do you get repeats? Right? As you look at it before, what did you get a repeat one for? I exceeded your expectations. Right? Ali exceeds the expectation of what it is that you expect a car salesperson to do. So Katerina delivers more than what people think they're paying for, and it's an easy decision to do it again. And in sales, are you wowing somebody? Are you actually going to put forth sales skills into your process, or are you just going to go, oh, you're a customer, let's walk you through, and you forgot to do everything that it takes to help them make a decision?
Right.
People remember experiences, everybody. Yeah. They remember experiences. They don't remember what they paid. Nobody remembers what they paid for Hamilton. They remember Hamilton, how their daughter felt when they saw it the first time. They don't remember prices. And Katerina had, such a great point. Joe knows this too, but we didn't grow up being taught always be retaining clients for future customers and earnings and referrals. We were taught always be closing and all that crap. That is how you'll make money quickly, and that's about it. People don't come back to you when they feel like you've sold them, right? Or pulled one over on them. So retaining customers and clients by treating them right post-sale, post-agreement, and not just calling them when you need them to reorder, re-enroll, whatever, which is what a lot of salespeople do. That's the problem I see. And the top 5%ers do not have that problem. 99% of their business referral based in almost any industry.
Right. So the question that I think a lot of people have that I deal with, and I know you two as well, I'm sort of putting Katerina over here because she probably knows where I'm going to go with this. It seems so easy to sell a tangible product like a car, a house, and all of that. I mean, that's sort of, you can see it, you can compare prices. How do you sell coaching where you don't necessarily see tangible results? You may feel better in the end, you may have a different mindset in the end, but you can't really measure that now you're happier. I mean, maybe you now hit, the scale 10 or something. It's also different, side wink here to Joe with losing weight, because you can see that it drops, right?
Yeah.
But with something intangible, with a feeling of freedom, happiness, and all of that, which is really what it's about in the end. How do you put a price on that without people seeing the tangible result and then have people be as happy? Because that's what a lot of people try to sell right now, right?
Right.
I'd like to take this one to start because this is what I do every day, all day long. And I believe that nobody buys from us when we have services until we have built influence. Because if you can't see it, it's not tangible, how do you get someone to buy your services? And how do you get them to pick you over the other lifetime supply of life, health, wealth coaches?
Yes.
And I'm going to give you the influence equation right now, if I can. And here it is, because it's very simple. And this is what I teach my clients, because a lot of people feel like they don't know, they're not masterful at selling, but they're masterful at their thing. And the way we build influence is with visibility plus value plus consistency. Visibility plus value plus consistency. Now, visibility is absolutely all the social media and the ebook and the videos and all of that. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been doing my thing for almost 30 years now, and I like to think I don't look like I
started when you were 5.
Right. Thank you, Joe. I love you so much.
Yes, see, everybody watching, that's sales.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Butter them up.
But here's the thing. In the beginning, I didn't know how to sell, but I knew how to speak. And so I would go speak, and then inevitably a couple people after would want to come and talk to me because I had built Insta influence with my speech. That's the visibility and the value that I'm talking about. And also, though, another kind of value that I love to talk about, Natalie, is our heart skills.
Yes.
Okay, Joe just gave me some love. That counts too, right? All of our heart skills, our kindness, our graciousness, our genuine caring, our being a good listener, all of that also counts for the value that we bring. And I want to invite people to amplify that, because oftentimes we think that that's not a part of it, but it's actually a very essential part. And then the consistency comes when you are like our friend Ali that we've been talking about, and you get some assistance so that you can focus only on the part that is your part, which is the building influence and the speaking and the serving.
Yeah. So Katerina, what about when we're dealing with objections in the coaching arena? How do you address sales objections?
I like to say you got to dance through the objections, right?
Yes.
And the first thing is that you know.
I like that.
I call them liars. I call them liars. There's no need to dance. You're lying. There is no objection. Let's move past it. Yes.
Well, and it's every conversation is different, in my opinion. But the first thing is to always find the prospect right. So, yes, I can understand why you might feel that way, or sure, I can get that, or I understand you've been burned before, or whatever it is. Always find them right. And then talk to them. And this is where you want to have your things ready. What are the objections going to be? What are the things that you're going to say to overcome that? And the other thing is, I believe that not everybody is an Insta client. And that really when somebody says, I'm not ready, or what about this or that, I like to put that in my Star Trek Universal Translator, which translates into, you need to build more influence with me before I'm ready to buy. And so rather than saying, hey, I'll check back with you in 3 months or 6 months, which I think is ridiculous, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you come to this thing? Or let me invite you to this. Or you know what? I've got this other thing that I think would be helpful to you. And keep them engaged rather than find them wrong that they're not signing up. Because many times it's more influence. There's only 25% that are the Insta clients. We've got the slow cookers, we've got the super slow cookers, and the super slow cookers. They might take more than a year, but our job is to keep them engaged. So not all objections are, I'm not going to be your client. Mm-hmm. It's like, we just need to build more influence before we ask them to buy again.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
But Joe just said they're all lying. So I think Joe disagrees with you.
They're all lying. What's the super slow cooker? I don't even get that.
They took more than a year to become your client, Joe. I know you're good at follow-up.
Yes. So one of the things I'll tell you, like example to what was just said by Katerina, I picked up a client that watched my LinkedIn for 1 year, never clicked like, never engaged, never commented, just one day went to my website and says, I love everything you post. Right. And that's a great thing. So I didn't have to do any of that follow up. That I like. Mm-hmm. Right. There was no expense to that. That was great. But one of the things that I do, and again, I have many clients of mine that I help that are coaches, and truly I sell the service of sales training. So again, I like to take whatever is out there as a variable. Let me go with the woo-woo. Right? What is it? What is out there? And I will find a tangible, measurable way to talk about it. So of a coaching client that I have that says, I need to be better at the coaching stuff. I need to do this. The answer is great. Where's your sales? Now let's look at what we're doing forward. Let's go put out a post like this. Let's put this out. Let's get this. Client reaches out to you, says these things. Write down your objections. Katerina's right. If you haven't cataloged every objection you get, right? Price, time, relationship, let's go, right? But I take the approach of being I challenge you more than I coddle you. So I'm not that person. So the guy liked all my posts. None of my posts are like, it's a warm, fuzzy feeling over here at Sales Genius, right? We just want you to feel great. And no, the answer is let's make money by doing things right, treating people right, and moving them through our process. But are you moving them through their processes? And so I get text messages all day long that go, I just did 4 more sales. I just tripled last month, right? And I have people that go, if I follow your process, right? I have one client in particular goes, if I follow your process, will I be able to double my income? I said, absolutely. And he goes, well, why don't you stop and think about it? I'm like, I already know. As a salesperson, you're not doing everything you could possibly do because by nature, your personality type, if you are in sales, is not one that wants to follow the 47 steps to success, right? Right. You're the one that when somebody walks in and goes, Steve, how much money are you going to make this month? And you go, I don't know, but I'm excited, right? That person is not following all the process steps. So if I can get you to commit to me to follow, and I put the accountability program in place, right? Because that's what's missing in all of sales is proper accountability to the actions that get you to results.
And who's causing that, Joe? You know already, right? Who causes that is, all these salesmen and women, right? They get to run amok. Like, you wouldn't let your kids do that. Why do the sales managers, VPs, owners allow this to continue to happen? And by the way, Joe has a really good Clubhouse video I saw on YouTube. And I want to have you guys think of, and gals, a different view on objections, if I could take a second. So it just happened on a LinkedIn article we posted. And this is similar to maybe a Brad thing, as Joe and I know Brad. There's a reason that most salespeople get a lot of objections. And here's the solution. Stop doing shitty sales presentations. So that's number one. Number two.
It's a technical term.
Yeah. How do you know if you're doing a shitty sales presentation?
Poor results.
That's how.
Okay,
Right.
so no results.
You got it.
For those people who don't know.
You got it. Here's the problem, everybody. We've all been taught this too, and Katerina and Joe know as well. We've all been taught how to handle objections. You know, we've heard all this crap for years. I want to take you to a football context. When teams are practicing, right, all week, getting ready for the game, they're running plays. They don't practice throwing interceptions. They don't tell the quarterback, hey, Brady, throw 6 interceptions in a row so we can see how the offense reacts to the defensive back running down the field. Hey, Ezekiel Elliott, fumble 3 times so we can see what we'll do when stuff goes wrong. When you practice the things that go wrong, what do you think you're inviting into your business? So forget objections. Just practice doing amazing presentations and you'll get less. But we don't do that. We don't watch ourselves. We don't record ourselves. We don't do what the professionals do. Singers, songwriters, actors, actresses, football players. What do you think they watch all week? Game film. And what do most salespeople never watch? Game film. And we wonder why we're not successful.
Well, stop and look at a Super Bowl, right, show. Takes 30, 40 minutes. And how long do you practice that?
Oh, yeah. Year.
Right? If you go, okay, Beyonce is going to be on the thing. You go, okay, great. So she's going to spend 3 weeks, 8 hours a day practicing with everybody there to make sure that 40 minutes goes off without a hitch.
Yep.
And again, we don't do that in the sales side of things. We blame it. This is typically what happens, right? We blame the customer for not being serious, when in fact, it's the complete opposite. Like when I go in and I teach people, I say, look at your entire sales department. So look at this whole screen, whoever you like the least. And Katerina's pointing at me, but her hands are down. But so you figure whoever you like the least. So when you go talk to a prospect, okay, and that prospect and you don't click. So you sit back and go, okay, not happening. You shouldn't go to your buddy. So Steve and I agree a lot on things. So I'm going to say, hey, Steve, take this customer. They're going to go, okay, so basically you got me somebody with darker hair, skinnier with a different shirt, but it's you that you went and got. So you bring it back. Then Steve and I go sit back later and go, what an idiot that prospect was. He wasn't serious. And you're
What
like,
do you call them in your, not you, Joe, but what if, for everybody listening, because I know the word TK, what do they call people who don't buy cars?
Jacks.
What's another one?
Tire kickers?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't use that anymore.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been since he's been in the business. Nobody makes tires anymore. They're all run flats.
Do. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, they call them names, right? You know, you guys know this. Like, no, you should be the one being called a name because you blew it. It's not their fault. But Joe's exactly right. It's always
you don't click, right? So if I don't click, so I'm going to use the example on the screen. So Natalie and I don't click, but she loves me. But we don't click. And then Katerina and I don't click. Then my job is to walk over and say, Natalie, here's my sales partner, Katerina. And I put the two of them together. And you know what you hear? Click. And now we have a sale, right? But we don't. We think because I don't get along with you, I don't want to turn anything to you, right? Don't click. Don't click. Put them together. Click. You step out of the way and allow it to happen. But our ego gets in the way, and we decide I have to hold on to this person to try to make a deal, and I'll run it all the way into the ground rather than give it to somebody who could do something with it.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to something that Steve said, because, and I know Katerina, you can chime in. So I apologize for interrupting you. But Steve, when you mentioned, don't practice the interception, and I'm putting words in your mouth and paraphrasing, right?
Yeah.
That to me is mindset, or like I like to call it mind flex. So it is, it's what you practice, you get more of, right? It's the same idea. So then how can we retrain people and ourselves to not do that? Because a lot of people have that fictitious or imagined or whatever you call it, fear of sale, because they don't look at it like the three of you do as a service. And so they're like, okay, I have to sell. What if it goes wrong? How do we change that? Because that seems to be really what the three of you are talking about. It's no longer blaming the other. It's taking accountability, taking responsibility. How do we change that mind?
Well,
It takes. Oh, go ahead, Katerina. You go, dear.
well, related to what you were saying, Steve, about practice, looking at it like an athlete would look at it. Remember that if we want to get to mastery with something, it takes 10,000 hours. Now, the truth is, I think that number is a very depressing number, 10,000. But most people that have to sell are not spending enough time selling. Steve and Joe, you all come from a industry where you're sales, but you're not everything like many entrepreneurs. And many entrepreneurs, I know, Joe, you and Steve, you guys have your own businesses as well. But when people start doing their thing, often they're wearing 10 hats and then they're wondering why they're having difficulty getting clients. Yes. Well, if you're wearing 10 hats, you're not spending enough time selling. And not only does that mean you're not getting enough clients, but it also means that you're not getting masterful at selling. And that when we talk about practice,
as Allen Iverson taught it, we talking about practice. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Okay. What I'm saying is that you have to get all of your hours in every week, just like going to the gym, so that you get better and better and better. Yes. And most people, aside from their skills and their mindset and all of that, most people are not spending enough time talking to potential clients. A lot of people are marketing and they're confusing marketing with sales. Marketing is letting everybody know about your amazing product or service. Sales is actually inviting people to be your client and having that conversation. So that's one thing that I think, Natalie, the more you sell, the better your mindset is. Okay. Mm-hmm. And sometimes people say to me, well, Katerina, how do you stay motivated to sell? I go sell something. It makes me very happy. And then that makes me motivated for the next time.
She made a great point, everybody. And what's happening now, and to give you a pre-pandemic number, right? 2019, the average American watched 34 hours a week of TV. 34. That's Hulu, Netflix, whatever. 34. That's pre-pandemic. What do you think that number is today? And these same people are wondering why they're not having the results they want. It's common sense, but it's not, right, so common as we know. So what do people do? Joe knows, right? Oh, I'll just go to this event for the weekend and then I'll spend $5,000 and then I'll be rich on Tuesday. No, you have to.
It takes a week.
It's a week, right, Joe?
It's a week from Tuesday, you'll be rich.
Not the weekend. It's the
Give
week.
it time to sink in.
Yeah. You have to put the time in, y'all. You cannot be upset with the results you're not getting from the work you didn't put in. And that's the problem. And so when it comes to changing mindset, it's an intentional change. Just like if you wanted to lose 20 pounds, you wanted to play guitar, you cannot just pick it up and play cashmere and be good. You just cannot do it.
Yeah. So Joe, in this touchless society, what do you think are some of the things that are changing the way that people treat sales?
So I will tell you right now, it's going to force every single salesperson out there to increase their vocabulary and use words that are different than what they get used to. Because right now, again, is anybody just walking in to a business, right? In California, we just now got to, right? It's like, ooh, look, we get to go inside where there's tables, okay? But again, everything has been over the phone. Everything is coming in through chat. Everything is going in through an app, right? And as soon as you flip virtually, right, and everything is going touchless, where we'll drop it off at your door and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, my bride's dealership does this, right? They go do the whole thing online. We'll drop the car off in the driveway, right? And someone will stand with a mask and have you sign documents and we'll wave goodbye, right? That's on the car business side. Now, you also look and say in every other aspect, how crucial now is phone skills to your staff if they've got to take your order, if they've got to walk you through, right? I always tell everybody, go ahead and call your cell phone provider and see how happy they are to talk to you. Okay? Now, if you understand something, you're already their client. Remember the difference between sales skills and customer service skills? They go, look, you have an agenda, right? You have an agenda. You want to accomplish something to me. Otherwise, you don't call me. So you will tolerate a poor to mediocre experience to accomplish your task. The sales department doesn't have that. I'm trying to steal you from another phone provider. So I'm going to be amazing. So the phone skills are what is going to determine whether or not you're successful moving forward. We've all called someplace and talked to somebody who was too busy to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the immediate perception you have of this business. Right. Call someplace and they go, yeah, hey, thanks for calling so-and-so. Please hold. And next thing you know, you're listening to hold music. Right. The phone is going to kill businesses because everybody was so used to face-to-face. Now they see a dip in their business because face-to-face is not happening. It goes to telephone. These people are rude, and they're not being rude. They just normally have a face to smile to go with whatever, mediocre to poor word choices that they use. And so it's going to be vocabulary, it's going to be tone and inflection, and it's going to be matching the speed at which the person you're talking to is talking. And it's what's going to kill it for whoever's in business 5 years from now.
There's a flip side to Joe's too, and I brought
but
this
I'm
up
right.
today.
I'm right. Let me tell you. Katarina agrees with me. She just nodded. Yeah.
Joe's comments. This is in addition to.
Okay, good.
So I asked this on a group I was doing for Canada. It was a bunch of millennials, right? So I said, okay, everybody, pick up your phone. Can anybody tell me if they know that this device can be used to talk to another human? Raise your hand. And of course, they're all laughing. And I go, you guys realize that you could physically talk, like someone talks into your ear, like you guys know that? Everybody now, and Joe would also probably agree with this, they all want to do this funnel crap, right? Oh, I just need a funnel. I just need an email list. No, pick up the damn phone and call somebody. Because I will tell you, people are craving interaction, y'all. We've been locked up for a month. And to Joe's point,
a year.
I'm sorry, a year.
It's the 1 year anniversary of flattening the curve for 2 weeks.
A year and a month. If you are world class at something, I don't care what it is. If you're world class at making toothpicks, you're successful and people want to hear from you. If you are world class on the phone, you are a top 1%er in sales, and it's not even close. And people have lost the skill, and the ones that are great at it are so glad that none of their competition's using it. I certainly am. Joe probably is. All of y'all probably are. So
my email tagline is cash in on your calls.
There you go.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
Why are we not doing that? But here's a tip for everybody who's watching going, could you guys tell me something to do? Okay. Text the person from your phone. So get a phone number, right? Some people, it's going to come back green anyway because they have Androids or it's a landline. Okay. But either way, right? Go ahead and text the person first on your first initial contact. Hi, it's Joe. Is it okay if we text today? Right? Simple yes or no question. Okay. I wait 60 seconds and I dial them. And I tested this with Android too. It does the same thing. I had somebody in my class yesterday while we were doing this, right? It says across the phone, maybe Joe. So it doesn't say scam likely or unknown number. It says maybe Joe. So now Natalie has to go, why, after a year and a half of working with Joe on the Tribune, have I not added him to my contact list?
You're in there.
Yeah. And so, it's on block. It's the easiest way to make sure you never talk to anybody is put them in your phone, right? And so when you look at that, what do you want to do? You text them, hey, it's Joe. Then they look down. So an unknown number gets answered 17% of the time. So 100 dials gets you 17 people to talk to. Okay. Now, why don't you sit back and say, now how many can you convert to an appointment? It's not a numbers game, it's conversion. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play the conversion game too. I'm going to text you first from the number I'm going to call you from. It says, maybe Joe. It's a 44% answer rate. The 17% before is just what's left of baby boomers who go, it's the phone ringing.
Yeah.
Let's
Must
go,
be
right?
someone that wants to talk to me.
You have X gen and Y gen is what make up the rest of it for the 44% that's there. Millennials still never will. I will text my kids. I will text them first. They will not answer. I will call them. They will not answer. I will go to Snapchat, send them a message, and they answer like that. And then on Snapchat, I go, you realize all 3 interactions happen on the same device that's in your hand the whole time.
Okay,
Well,
so that's
Joe,
the question. Yeah.
I was going to say real quick. So it sounds like what you're saying too is that technology doesn't have to change the way that we work in sales.
No, technology only helps us. Right?
If Joe, and Joe's point again is great as usual, like most of his points.
Right. They're genius, actually.
In sales, and this is something I learned a long time ago. We know what the golden rule is, obviously. Treat others as you want to be treated, which is complete garbage, right? Complete garbage. We need to use the platinum rule, which is treat others as they want to be treated. Who gives a crap how you want to be treated, how they want to be treated? So in this sense of reaching people, and Joe mentioned the different generations, if I'm trying to reach a baby boomer, I'm not Snapchatting them. So I can't be upset if they don't get back to me because I used the medium that I prefer. You've got to use the medium they prefer. So Joe just said, if he wants to reach his kid, he goes on Snapchat. If he wants to reach an Xer, he can text or call or email. If he wants to reach a boomer, you can call or go by the store. You have to understand the way that your prospects prefer to be communicated with is the way you do it, not what you think.
I like to use what I call the double dip. I always email, text, or I use a lot of Facebook and LinkedIn direct messages. But I start with a phone call because the phone call gets your positive voice and your positive energy in their voicemail box. And then I say, I'm going to Facebook you or text you or email you following Steve's advice, whatever platform I know they prefer. And I know they prefer it because if they haven't been on Facebook or LinkedIn in 10 months, then I know that's not their preferred method. The double dip has many times, I've tested this, gets up to a 90% response rate in 24 hours. But the thing is that usually people they don't call, they almost never call back to book an appointment. They're using that secondary method that they can do at 11 o'clock at night. Let's remember that a lot of people are doing their reach backs on email or text or messenger, direct messaging, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Right.
Is when a lot of that's happening. So I recommend the double dip. And I would like
Love
to
that.
I want to say thank you, Sherry. Steve talked about pick up the phone and Joe talked about, hey, we have to have phone skills. And I totally agree. One thing though that we have to also look at is what are our sales habits? What are the things that we're doing, our daily, I call them daily success practices, our daily sales practices. One of the things, if I could give a super tip that my clients and I have started doing is the afternoon before, for the next morning, before we do anything else when we get to the office, we do 5 reach outs or 5 circle backs. And a circle back is when somebody you reached out to last week didn't get back to you. And people always say, well, what do you say? What do you say when they didn't get back to you? You say, hey, circling back. Want to find out if it's still okay for us to book a call or whatever it is. And this practice of 5 reach outs a day before you've done anything else is a habit that I've seen with my clients increasing a rate of getting appointments and sales. So a lot of times it's not that our sales skills are lacking, it's that our sales habits are lacking. And that we want to recognize where can we make an improvement, because the thing about habits, my friends, is that they increase your productivity. Meaning when you do something every day or every week at the same time, you get more and more productive at it, which means you get better and better and you can get more sales.
Awesome.
Love that. And what that does too is it strengthens our neuro pathways.
Yes, Sherry. Yes.
Well, it
Those
sets
are
you up
big
for
words.
success, right?
Big words.
So-
Neuro pathways. I'm going to look that up.
Find that, Joe.
Yeah, look it up, Joe. Look it up. You can Google that, I think.
Google.
Yeah, I think you
Get
can
that
Google
Google
it.
out.
We're almost at the end of our show, and it's been, I think you guys have shared so many really important nuggets. At the end of the show, because we're sort of talking about, on the one hand, sales habits, mindset, practice, and all of that. And I think it was Katerina earlier who said, and the two gentlemen agreed that there are a lot of solopreneurs, right? And so they're trying to figure out, how do I do it all? I've got 5 clients that I want to, over deliver to. I hate sales. I don't even know what marketing means, but I'm on Facebook all day. How do I now sell? Because I don't even want to pick up the phone. So of course we now use Zoom a lot more, or StreamYard, or WhatsApp, or Signal. I mean, you name it, because people sometimes want to see each other. So for the end of the show, what is your one most important tip that you could give a solopreneur who's trying to do it all by themselves, because they don't have the funds right now to hire you guys, right? What's your one tip?
Joe, you want to go first or last?
I'm just going to seal it for everybody. And
I'll let Joe close. I'll let Joe close it out, or Katerina.
No. You all got to say something.
I'll go first. It goes back to a lot of what Katerina said. There is so much stuff we can get for free. It's insane. This whole thing of the cost and all that kind of stuff, that's just an excuse. There's millions upon millions of pieces of info you can get from every platform imaginable at how to increase your ability to sell. But I would say is focus on your ability to communicate first. If you're a world-class communicator, you will be a world-class salesperson. They go hand in hand. Most people want to do it the other way. They want to learn the sales stuff, the special tricks, the closing questions, but they're not a great communicator. So I would say, y'all, enough with the Netflix, enough with Hulu. Start investing the time in your business, but more importantly, in yourself, to become a world-class communicator, and your results will skyrocket.
Wow.
Love it.
World-class communicator.
You want me to go? You're going to go, Katerina?
I'll go. So
Let the beautiful Katerina go.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you. So one of the things is, because I taught a sales class today, and for the first class of a new class. So new people who are like, how do I sell? And their big one challenge was they don't know who to call. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so if they don't know who to call and they don't have any warm prospects, this is where I'm wanting them first to build some influence. Speaking, networking, and referrals are the shortest, fastest distance in most cases between you and your next client or potential client that you have influence with. This is why I want everybody to speak. This is why when the pandemic hit, I told my clients, host a Zoom thing every month, a 1-hour thing, so you always have something to invite people to where you can warm them up. And a lot of people don't realize that your social capital, meaning at your church, at your kids' school, from your former jobs and careers, all of that influence that you built before, that you can bring into the current business that you're in, and people will come to your thing just because they want to help you out, and then they'll see the value that you have to bring. So building influence before we ask people to buy is an essential part of closing more sales. But I do have to say one more thing, Natalie. You said, what about that person that says, hey, I can't hire you guys because I don't have any clients? Well, yeah, you don't have any clients because you're not selling anything because you're wearing 25 hats. So get some support in your business and recognize that your job is selling, service, strategy, speaking, and self-care. Those are the only 5 jobs entrepreneurs have. Get support with everything else, and you'll have more time for selling and you'll make more money. Bing, bing.
Yay, bing, bing.
Love it.
Bing, bing.
Bing, bang.
Close us out, Mr. Ingram.
Something for you to learn, Joe. You'll get
Okay,
it. You'll get
so
it.
here's what I want you to do. I want you to do 3 times more than you've been doing. Okay? And you're going to go, I'm already overloaded. No, you're not. You're scattered and you're doing things incorrectly. And so what you do is you grab a hammer and a nail and you start hammering it. Then you go, ooh, I can do this. And you grab a second hammer and a second nail. And I don't know how you hold the second nail while you have the hammer too. And you decide you're going to go hammer both. Then you grab a third and a fourth. And this is how we get so swamped as solopreneurs is because we've got 10 things going and we're trying to swing 10 hammers, right? And think how ridiculous you look trying to swing 10 hammers to try to put stuff in. You need to focus on one thing and triple your effort on it until it's done. I will tell everybody right now, I will sell and sell and sell regardless of the system behind me. Because when I sell, I have funds to fix the system behind me. You don't sell and you spend all your time, and this is the biggest mistake solopreneurs do. I need to set up all of the background networking and all of that stuff, right? I need to first perfect the execution without the sale, right? And so then you're going to spend all your money preparing the execution for nothing that's coming in the front door. Go sell, go triple up on sales. You sell something, you have capital to then build this network. Guess what? Virtual assistants, be a baller and pay them $10 an hour. Okay? Get them to build out the back stuff that's there, right? There's websites out there. Go to Fiverr. Find somebody in another country that $5 means something way more to them than it does to you. And you make their day, make their week, right? But have them do something for you. There's so many things to leverage, right? Steve said, go out there and find it. YouTube will teach you everything you need to know, and you don't have to make a mistake going forward. You just need to spend that time. But you watch one video and go, whew, that was an 8-minute video and it had 2 ads in it. So I am just burnt out today. Let me go binge watch a series for the next 9 hours and tell you what, Tiger King did at the end of the day, right? And you're like, guys, you've done nothing. You think you're doing something because you're trying to say you are. That's why I know everyone can triple their output. I will tell you, I'm busy. My calendar pops up in the morning at 8 o'clock, and it just shows nothing but nonstop meetings. I'm recruiting. I'm doing at lunch. I don't take lunch. I'm going to be doing meetings through lunch. Guess what? Half of them no show, and I'm really good at booking them. They're no showing job interviews. Okay, but again, why? Because that's on them, not on me. But that meant I have free time. Saturday, I had 5 interviews scheduled. 1 showed. Okay, so 4 of them flaked on Saturday, but yet I walked out of Saturday with 6 interviews for my client on Tuesday. Because I used that time. I go, showed me. I got 15 minutes till the next one. And I just jumped into the database, started calling, started texting, started setting things up. And I'm like, so my time wasn't wasted. But normally we would go, they no-showed. Let's wait for the next one. No, get back to work.
Yes, I love your mindset.
Get back to work. Everybody here has said it. Get back to work and stop thinking the one thing you did was enough to justify the next 3 hours of break.
Did you catch what Joe said, by the way, about the binge watching thing?
Powerful.
And I have to end on this because this is exactly what we just taught last week in one of these Vistage talks. You've all heard of binge watching. You've all heard of binge drinking. But you haven't heard of binge personal growthing. So why don't you try doing that and then tell me what your business looks like a year from today?
Beautiful.
Agreed.
Binge personal growthing. How do you spell that? I
I
like
love
that.
It's Joe's fault. He
I'm
made a
just
good
spelling
point.
it for you right now because this is awesome.
Just do binge improving.
No,
Binge
growthing.
improving
He said
good. Binge
growthing.
reading.
Good. I like it. I like
No,
Here
it.
we go. Here we
growthing.
go.
I think we can
growthing.
use that. We can use that. Thank you. Thank you, Joe,
everybody.
as always. Thank you, Katerina, as always. Steve, awesome to have you back.
Thanks
I
for
do
letting me
remember
join
you
the
from the
crew.
forum and the tips that you gave, and you just closed this out with one of the terms that we will from now on be using. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Katerina,
Nana.
everyone.
Steve,
You
Joe,
share.
thank you,
Happy New
Sherry.
Year.
We will
you.
all see you next week, hopefully back with Moe.
Go
Bye-bye.
sell something.
Bye.
You're gonna go sell something beautiful.
Go sell something.